Yeah, I am ready.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of Patch Notes, the Home Games podcast. We're recording on December 14th, 2K19. I'm Yazeed, and as usual, Joseph is here, and I'm here.
Hi. I forgot to mention, I'm good. I forgot to mention before we were talking about what we wanted to talk about. There's an Ethernet cable running through the apartment now. It's pretty good.
Hold on. Wait, what happened to your Wi-Fi?
Oh, I have Wi-Fi. It's just that I have a Steam Link. I still have the Steam Link box, so I can play games on my TV. Mm-hmm. And I just require an Ethernet cable for that because Wi-Fi is not fast enough. So the whole thing was that I just never wanted to run an Ethernet cable over the thing because we can't drill holes in the wall, and I don't want it over the floor because, you know, Synovia will trip or I'll trip or whatever. We're very clumsy people, so we can't have that kind of danger in the apartment. But I engineered some mastermind type stuff this week, and I put using 2 thumbtacks, one kind of in the living room on the wall, and one right outside my bedroom, or like this bedroom wall. I have the whole thing like suspended in the air, so it goes on the floor behind the couch, up the wall to the thumbtack, and then through the hallway that we walk through, but it's in the air, like over your head, even over my head, and I'm pretty tall, and over my head, and then back into here and connects into my thing. So
nice, dude.
Yeah, I feel like that's an achievement. It's also a dumb nerdy thing because it's all just to play games I don't play on Steam.
That's super cool though.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Joseph. I do that like every week, I've noticed. Last week it was like I missed opportunity on episode 8 because it was a food episode. That'll just be like the running thing where you're trying to introduce us and I'm just not even paying attention and I just talk about something that I thought of in the moment.
It's that, and then I do the Vines reference Vine all the time.
Yeah. Just talk about your boy's skinny penis once again.
Oh my god, those aren't supposed to be in the recording.
They aren't. That's like the Home Games Easter egg. One day I'll go and we'll release all of our unedited episodes on Blu-ray or something.
If we ever get to episode 100, can we release? When we get to episode 100, can we release episode 0, but like the full original unedited like 4-hour version?
Sure. I'll probably have to do at least one pass to make sure we edit out all the other stuff because there's some stuff that we just should not put out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But yeah, the mostly unedited, the director's cut, if you will. Kind of like how we did Ruse Cruise and then Ruse Cruise Farts Edition. That's a video that we did when we went on that cruise that we referenced, I think 1 or 2 episodes ago or something. But we basically recorded the whole time when we were on the cruise and just, I don't know. It was like a vlog, but it was pretty stupid. But we put out 2 versions of it. One with swearing that we could show to our friends and one without it that we could post on Facebook.
That's right. And that was the trip that Joseph learned he can wear skinny jeans. And I learned that Joseph has insane calves. Like,
they're not calves, they're cows.
Yeah, dude, straight cows. Do you know I still use the phrase, my cows are mooing, when my calves are tired?
Nice.
It's a great line. It makes so much sense.
Cows are mooing.
Yeah. What's happening, man? How's it going? How's last week treated you?
It's been okay. The reason I was thinking about Ruse Cruise stuff is because I went and downloaded all of my YouTube videos from my old channels. I have like 4 YouTube channels. Over the course of like the past, 12 years, something like that. So I just went and downloaded everything because YouTube just seems weird, and I realized I didn't have any actual copies of those videos, so I wanted to just go download them. And I found Ruse Cruise and Ruse Cruise Farts Edition, and all the videos that we had in high school, and the one from like with me and JC doing the Theodosius videos. Anyway.
Oh my god! Well, back in high school.
Yeah, that was freshman year high school.
Yeah,
so that was quite a while ago. And then
that's a long time ago.
stuff with me and Tynan playing Crackdown and GTA. One of them is one of the funniest, like, something that you could definitely find on the top of cringe today on Reddit, but it's just because the video. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't have access to the account anymore, so all the videos that I just downloaded through the YouTube, manager or whatever. But on one of my channels, I have no idea what email address is even associated with it, so I had to go download the videos that were public. But the problem is that the cringeworthy one is in there, and I have no power to take it down because I have no access to the account.
Yes. Jesus.
I mean, they're all cringy, by the way.
My favorite one is like your middle school one, where you were like, "What's up, guys?"
It's fun. It's funny because that was my video entry to NoobTube, which was a weekly gaming podcast for like a few years that I used to watch. It's super old though, but yeah, my YouTube channels are basically me submitting a podcast question, and then me playing games with all the people that are like doing stuff with us now on Home Games, which is kind of funny. It's Alex. We reviewed. I don't know if you remember we talked about our Stuntman Ignition review. That video is just gone forever. Me and Alex. But it was like the funniest thing that he and I have ever made in my life. Anyway, it was great. And so, anyway, I just kind of had like a nostalgia trip down memory road about all the dumb stuff that I've made on the internet over the past 10 years.
Hopefully we can do that with this as well.
Yeah. Well, here's more dumb stuff we're putting on the internet.
Yeah.
Also, we have those Dance Central videos in your house.
Oh my God.
All of them.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a wild time if you think about it. That was a lot of people.
Yeah, we had like 5 people in your house playing Satisfaction on Dance Central.
I still listen to that song. It brings back good memories.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I don't think I have very much on YouTube, so I don't really have much to pull back. I don't really record things or take pictures.
Smart move.
Well, like we kind of established one of the previous episodes that I travel frequently, and I actually keep a journal, and I don't really take much pictures. Not that I think I'm better than pictures or anything like that. I just feel uncomfortable taking pictures.
No, you think you're better than pictures. You're just like, no, there's no art to taking a photo, man. You just point and shoot, man. I write from the soul, bro.
I write like it's more like a summary of my day. It's more like a diary when I'm traveling than anything else. But yeah, so I actually don't have a lot of pictures for me. It's one of the limiting factors when you're making a Tinder or a Bumble account is that you have to have good pictures of yourself. Mm. And I have like 3 good pictures of myself, which is not enough to prove that you're not a robot. So
try to go take a picture like standing in your closet at a weird angle, just like trying to look cool and comfortable, but you need a picture in the moment. You can't go outside; yeah. It's too dark.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. Well, it doesn't help. Like everything in here is just like pure white walls. It looks like I'm having my like mugshot taken or something. It's just missing like the height guidelines behind me, like the little ruler thing behind me.
You just Sharpie it in. It's like 9'3", ladies.
God, hell, oh my God. Do you know? Actually, it's not even a. I'm 9'3", but those are 2 different measurements.
Neither of those are good for anything.
No, can you imagine being 9 feet tall? You'd run into so many problems that humans don't run into.
I'm pretty sure you'd just die, right? Because your body would just work so hard to keep you alive.
You know
Isn't
what?
that the thing?
I don't know. Go ahead.
I thought that was the thing where like there was some dude who was like 7'3" or something, and the distance that it takes to travel from like your heart to wherever else in your body is much more than a normal person. So your body just works harder naturally over the course of its life. It's like why Saint Bernards die at like 4 years old.
Oh, that might be true. But then basketball players, they're huge.
Yeah, but they're all like 30 years old. I'm just saying I don't know.
I see what you mean.
I don't know anything about biology or anything. Just by the way, everybody please know that.
Do we know anyone that's becoming a doctor? Or became a doctor?
I think my cousin might be, but I don't know. He was like studying biology and he wanted to become a doctor.
Okay.
We
should have them on.
No.
Make them answer health-related questions. I have a random question for you. If you were going to change your name, what would you change your first name to?
Are you saying I have to change my name? Or
Yeah, gun to your head. I don't know why it's... Yeah, gun to your head. They're like, change your name. It's sent in the paperwork. What do you pick as your new first name?
Can I pick a nonsense word?
I mean, yeah, but like everyone else is gonna like your employer and like your SSN and stuff like that will have to change to your new name.
I would change it to the name I use in everything online, which is Prosif. That would be my real actual name because
that would be very funny.
It wouldn't require any changing on my end to like get used to responding to it, and it sounds pretty much the same. And then when someone's like, "What? Why did you change your name? That's super stupid and weird," and I'm like, "Oh, don't worry. It was like a weird situation. I had a gun to my head. Long story."
Can you imagine if your mom had to start calling you Prosif?
Well, I mean, do people have to call me that, or?
Yeah, that becomes like your de facto.
Is a gun to their head too, though, or if it's like, hey, yeah, my legal name is Prosif now, but I mean, please just call me Joseph. That's weird. I mean, we can get around this. It's a society.
You know what? If I said that they all have guns to their head, this is just becoming like a weird problem about gun control. So let's not go in that way. It's a lot of guns for people, you know.
But I like my name. It's kind of all right.
Yeah.
Would you change your name?
I always thought I wanted to. But now I'm kind of just settled in with Yazeed. I feel like it fits me, kind of.
Yeah, I'm the same with... Like, I think maybe we're just too old now, but it just feels like that's my name. Like, why else would I be anything else? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I think I am Yazeed. The other thing too is like there's a lot of Josephs in the world, so you got to like compete with them. People are only ever going to meet one Yazeed, so I don't have to like be anything. I don't know. It's like a stupid explanation, but I kind of like that. Like they don't have any like preconceived notions for my name except for like I'm a weird ethnic person.
That is true. That is the assumption. When
you might cut out. Oh, hey, there we go.
Oh, cool. I had to go and change my audio device to another device and then back to the one I was using because there was never anything wrong. Thanks, Discord.
I don't know what's going on with Discord about that.
Because Audacity picked me up the whole time except for when I unplugged my mic to check it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know. Have I been cutting in and out or have I been pretty...
You cut out once for me. But I
okay.
was able to hear what you said.
All right. Dang. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I hate the internet and I hate computers. You want to talk about our game thing on computers on the internet?
Yeah. Let's get into it. So
we'll kind of take turns.
Yeah.
Great. So Home Games is now an organization on GitHub.
That was the worst uncomfortable silence I think we've ever had. I was just looking at him like, all right, and he's going to start. And I think you were looking at me like, all right, he's going to start.
No, I was looking at you because I was giving it a break so I could edit out everything we were saying just there so I can like ease it into something else. Okay. But then it made you uncomfortable and I could see it, so I kept it going a little longer.
I'm being bullied. Oh gosh. All right.
Yeah, so I made an organization for Home Games on GitHub because speaking of Prosif just earlier, it was under my personal GitHub account, so it's kind of, I don't know, I imagine it's just easier to find us if it's not associated to like a personal thing. And it also sets us up for, say I get hit by a bus or whatever, you know, we still have people in an organization and can like contribute to the repository and all that kind of stuff. So we have members that we invite to the team, and currently those members are just Yazeed and Alex and me. And I think we're the only ones that have permission to like create branches and stuff. It's kind of like before how I was giving you guys individual access to the repo. Now I think you just have to be on in the organization. I might be able to hide certain repos from you guys if I were to like make a private repo or something, but I'm not going to do it. Anyway, whole thing, organization, just to make it a little bit more legit and official. We can kind of use all the GitHub issues and all that kind of stuff there to have it be more real. And all the old URLs like the /prosiv/homegames, that stuff I think will redirect for some amount of time. I don't know how long, or if it's a permanent redirect, but you could still go to /prosiv/homegames and it'll redirect you to our organization, which is pretty cool.
If I commit, does it commit to the home games one?
Yeah, your local Git setup is going to be talking to the remote of /prosiv/homegames, but when you do that, GitHub will tell you, hey, we went ahead and sent this off to Homegames/homegames. Please update your remote or whatever. Your remote,
okay.
Whatever your local branch points to, the remote thing.
Okay.
I don't know
cool.
Git lingo.
Yeah, I'll check my remote because I don't remember if I got that error or not because I committed some stuff up last night.
Yeah. Well, it's
do
not
you have
even
anything
an
else
error.
on the organization stuff? So I go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's not even an error. It's just a warning of like, hey, if you get a chance, go ahead and update it. But, I mean, it doesn't seem to care that you don't. It's like a WinRAR or whatever.
I wonder if eventually if somebody made... Well, no, because nobody's going to be able to take your name.
Kind of. Someone could take the name.
Somebody can't take Prosiv.
Oh, the username. No, I thought you meant home games. Like someone right now can go build out a home games and call it home games.
Oh yeah, no, they can do that. But I mean, like the remote's pointing to like my remote's probably still pointing to like Prosiv/home games. So.
Oh yeah, unless you updated it manually, you're still going to be pointing to
yeah.
/Prosiv.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make sure I get that done then.
But like I said, it doesn't matter because it'll keep redirecting everything that you do. So if you push, it'll be like, don't worry, we got you. Because like that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But eventually, you're gonna have to do that.
Well, I probably wanted to do that because otherwise I'll forget, and then if something weird happens with GitHub later,
True.
I'm just like, whoa, how come I can't push anymore?
Did you see that thing about the GitHub? I forget what they called it, but it's like the code vault that they're doing. I think it's early next year. They're taking every, quote, active repository on GitHub, and they're adding it to some sort of archive. Like public active
Holy
repository.
smokes.
So it'll be like a code vault or whatever. So in however many years, you can dig up what people were working on, I guess, at this time. It's actually a super cool idea to me, like a preservation historical thing. Kind of like on the episode 0 we were talking about preserving YouTube videos and how important that is or whatever. It's like that's actually super important to me. So I think I don't know. I think that's interesting. But we should the idea that Home Games isn't as a quote active repo. I don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure it's active. Like we commit to it every week.
I think it's probably just like my guess is it's had commits within the last X number of time. Like yeah.
I'll just go and do a like update README on every one of my repos to make sure I get in there.
I'll get in there. Yeah. I would, you know how in like college, freshman year of college, you write code, and then like senior year of college, you look back and you're like, ugh. I wonder how bad that's going to be in like however long it takes for the code vault to be opened.
Oh, that's probably, That's always true though. It's even outside of school. Like I'll look at stuff I wrote a year ago and be like, oh my God. Yeah. That was one thing in my previous job where I had a change in one repo that needed to be moved over to another repo. Basically, like some chunk of this repository was being migrated to another, and so in the pull request for that repository, the person added me, and I looked, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" There was one line in there where I was like, "Oh my God, this is some of the dumbest conditional logic I've read in a while." In my head, and I was about to write a comment about like, "Why did you do this?" And then I realized, because I remembered that was my code actually from before, and to make sure that was my line still, and it certainly was. So it was that don't trust anyone, not even yourself meme.
Yeah.
Kid pointing gun at himself. Anyway, no, I had nothing else about the Home Games IO organization.
Real quick on that point, I run into that all the time at work too, where it'll be like I wrote code and then like 6-7 months will go by and then I'll go back in that file and I'll just be like, what the heck is going on in here? And then I'm reading through it and I'm like, wait a second, this looks familiar. And then you keep going down and you realize like some of the variable names are like variable names you use everywhere else, and you're just like, oh no.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep. You can just blame everything. and
Yeah.
it's always you. You're always the culprit.
There's an extension for VS Code that it literally will git blame each line. So like as you hover over it, it tells you who the last person was who wrote that line.
Oh wait, what about one that would take the line, like the last line of the stack trace, like the code, the thing that actually threw the error? Take that line number, git blame that, and then tell you not only the error that you got, but who's responsible for that.
It would be like Yazeed caused this error so many times, you have no idea.
And then you can automate all that, and it like goes into a scoreboard, but it's like the opposite of a scoreboard. So it's a way to keep your
garbage mode.
Yeah,
I did that when I was a lead, but not really.
That'd be cool. But yeah, it's that's I guess a good thing though. It's progression that you're able to look at your old code and be like, that's disgusting, because we're writing stuff right now that will hopefully be disgusting in the future.
I mean, like, I don't know. That's kind of one of those things where I like about programming. Even when you're not really trying to improve, the simple act of doing it is you improving.
Yeah, it's the best. It's I don't know.
For my side of things from home games, I started Square last week / this week, and I'm noticing a couple of things. So first of all, Joseph, I have a question for you, or rather a statement.
Okay.
Our thing is too smooth.
What do you mean?
Frogger's a little herky-jerky. You press the up arrow when he moves, he's like, boop, moved up a square. And you press left arrow and it's like, boop, move left a square, right?
Yeah.
Ours is way too smooth. You press the up arrow and it just smooth, like it just slides, like, ooh, like butter, just like, ooh, slide everywhere.
That's your logic then, because you can limit it on the server. So I
can you?
Yeah, I could. Like you could. I forgot how to speak. If you look at the word match game, when it takes text input, there's some throttling logic there, because that's the same input listener of a key down. So on the word down, when I hit the W, for example, if I actually input a character as fast as it reads it, it would make like 200 W's on your screen within a second, which is what's happening with your Frogger input. But if you throttle that, then you only say, okay, well, am I able to move? And then that able to move is some sort of timeout, like half a second, something like that. And then, okay, well, if I am, what direction are they looking into? And then I'll kind of, like, if you want to get the chunk, you have to make sure that the movement that you want to go to is far enough to be significant or whatever, because that's the one chunk they're going to get. You know what I mean?
I see. Okay, I got you.
But that's a good thing, though, that we're able to make it smooth.
Yeah, it's too smooth. I was like, why is this moving so nicely? And then I upped the like jump distance, and it still was moving so smoothly, but like poofing into the next spot because of how far apart I made it.
Yeah,
it was just like, all right.
Like 900 FPS Frogger.
Yeah, it kind of was. It felt like I wasn't really playing Frogger. It was like, it actually made me rethink. I was like, maybe we make Frogger, but instead of it moving like by chunks like that, it does move smoothly. So you can move like in between the cars and like move with the cars.
It's like a slick action stealth game now.
Yeah.
It's James Bond Frogger.
Metal Gear Frog. I've never played a Metal Gear game.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I believe that. It's a hard series to get into. I didn't play any until 4. But then I played 5 and Rising as well, which it's not an MGS game, but they're cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But those are like PlayStation exclusives usually, right?
Yeah, I think all of them except 5, they were all exclusives.
That definitely explains why I haven't played it.
They're cool. MGS4 starts off with this like TV commercial infomercial thing. It's just nonsense, real life live action commercials. And me and Tynan bought that game like, I don't know, 7 years ago. Used at a GameStop, and then we played it, and we were just very confused because neither of us had played MGS games before. And then we were just watching a cooking video of a woman just making eggs in a skillet, and I didn't have cable, so I was like, well, this is clearly on the wrong input, but why is it showing us like satellite TV garbage? Like, what is this? I had no idea what was happening, and that was like my first introduction to Metal Gear. It was really cool. Me and Tynan were just confused watching a breakfast cooking thing.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything really about Metal Gear besides people say the cutscenes are more like short movies.
Yeah, the cutscenes are super long. Death Stranding is the same way because it's the same. It's Hideo Kojima, so it's like his style.
Did you see that won an award?
Yeah, at the Game Awards.
Yeah, for like best game, right?
Something like that.
Or best direction or something.
I thought it was People's Choice. I thought Sekiro won best game.
I have no idea. I don't usually follow very many like award shows or like award ceremonies.
Yeah, I tried to watch that. I watched 5 minutes of it, and then they said there was an award for like a best streamer or something, and then Jeff Keighley started listing off all these absolute nonsense names like 3 B's and a Z, Garbs, Fargs, that kind of stuff, and I was just like, there's no way I'm out. This is not for me.
But anyway, the other thing that came up while I was doing this was testing.
Yeah.
We have none of them.
Yeah, you mentioned that a couple times. I don't care about writing tests at this point.
Well, so, okay, here's the dealio. Here's why I brought up testing, right? So, in the colors.js file, right, the way we pull in a random color, I realized I wanted my background to always be black, which meant that my squares can never be black. So I wrote an exclusion list to the random color getter where you pass in an exclusion list basically saying like, don't include this color when you're trying to get a random color for me. So that was what I was looking at. And I was like, oh, this would be perfect to unit test because that colors file is standalone, unlikely to change very much. And that function is what's really being used in there.
I was just curious how you did it. But yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so I mean, like a really simple way of testing it is to just remove every color and then, like every color but one color, and then say, "Please give me a random color," and it should pick out that one random color.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then if that works, then we're good. The other way to do it is simply to make sure that we get an array of numbers back. So we get a random color, and we just say, "Okay, did we get?" I think it's like 3 or 4 values in the array. I think it's 3
for color.
Yeah.
It's 4 because it's our RGBA.
That's right. Okay. So 4 colors in there. And as long as we get an array back with 4 numbers, then we're good. Mm-hmm. We don't have to we don't ask for like give me red and then because we have no way of saying like give me red via a random number, like a random color thing. Sure. Anyway.
I guess there's so much stuff broken with like just core functionality. Like I found this crazy race condition yesterday that sometimes when you click the start game button too fast on the dashboard stuff I've been working on, which I'll talk about later, like the whole game will just stop working and I don't know where that's coming from and stuff like that. So I put those bugs at the top of the priority list. Like testing, like unit testing stuff is not like for me at this time does not seem like something that would help me because I would just be testing stuff I know how to fix.
That makes sense. I don't know. For me, it's like if we had unit testing down, because the other thing too, I don't know. I noticed this at my work as well, is that when we said we were going to unit test things, we wrote things in a way that we could unit test them. And when we said like, we'll do unit tests later, we literally didn't write things in a way that were like atomic. Like everything is just like logic is just flowing around too much. So it's hard to test any one individual piece.
Yeah, I get that. I also just think things are changing so often that it's like I'm not even thinking about writing quality code in general, let alone compartmentalized components that are individually testable and all that stuff. Like I'm just not there mentally, and there's not a ton of code in the code base. Like there's hundreds of lines, but it's not thousands of lines. Mm-hmm. And so the way I see it, it'll be just core runtime bugs. Like, okay, well, this thing broke when I clicked it. What happened? I need to fix that. Okay, well, when you rotate the screen and then you rotate it back, all of your XYs are translated improperly. I have to fix that. That kind of stuff. And that's just like discovered from playing it. And then once it's like, okay, well, this is all solid and there's probably busted logic in here, then you can start to break it down and unit test and all that stuff. But
that makes sense. Okay.
Like my Prettify branch, because like how the current master blew up the previous version of master that we had. This Prettify stuff is blowing up the current version of master that you're using, and it's only been like a month. Well, not blowing up. It's just when I say blowing up, I don't mean what's currently there. I mean literally, it's expanding out all the stuff that's there. It's like adding a new base under it. It's just a lot more. So, I mean, I guess in my head it's just too fast. It's moving too fast to unit test. But I think you're right about like colors, for example. That is individually unit testable. I just don't know how much value we get out of testing it.
I wouldn't get like a ton of value, but I think having starting to write some unit tests for things that we know aren't going to change much was probably a good idea. Because it'd be a pain if we have to go back and like spend 2 weeks writing tests.
Sure.
Or whatever. If we get like some of the little stuff done now, I think that's a good idea.
I think you're right. I also think another benefit from that would be just setting up the testing stuff. Like I don't know if you want to use Mocha or whatever people use. But I mean, if you want to do all the unit testing stuff, like you can go ahead and start to look into that and set it up. And once we have a good testing tool, then we'll know, okay, well, colors is tested in this way. So now I keep that in mind when I'm writing Squisher code that like, okay, well, in order to test this, it should be like this or whatever.
Yeah. The other thing that's kind of nice about and this is probably a good transition into something else you want to talk about, but I like it because you can read tests to kind of get a feel for how things are supposed to be called. Like it kind of documents your code for you. You don't have to comment your code if your variables are good. And if you have tests, then it shows you even like, this is the values that I'm going to call this thing with. It's like, this is what you want to call this thing with. If there's ever confusion about it down the line.
But ideally, you can look at the simplicity of the code because everybody's just writing a game under source/games. So then I'm realizing now that they need to import some sort of home games util helper thing that is able to contact with the squisher and then do some other stuff. So that's all they're really going to be confined to. And then they can look at another game to see how that's made. And we'll also have some basic documentation about how to instantiate a node, how a node works, yada yada, how the game tree works. And then it's like, okay, well, then they can just read the code for the home games helper that they have, and then that's just calling the core home games functions, and that's just JavaScript. So, like, I would think that a person who's going to be trying to learn from this or learn our framework or build something in it, I would say they would probably just look at existing games and documentation and not so much unit tests of core functionality, because we can't expect people writing games to write unit tests for their games. We can really just have unit tests for our core functionality. And so that'll just be, like I said, like, you know, ideally easily readable because the whole thing is just simplicity.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Do you want to go over the base documentation now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I put that in like last minute because I think that's a necessity to get someone in a serious way, to be interested in this, instead of, because, you know, we'll show people and we'll show like our programmer friends and they'll be like, oh, cool. And then in the case like you or Alex or whoever, you could kind of just ask us because we're all close and friends and we have each other's numbers and stuff. But when somebody on the internet just finds this, it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to answer their call at midnight or whatever. So like, you know, having something there for people to just see like, okay, well, really high level view, here's the general architecture. So I've been messing around with my Surface tablet and just like drawing and stuff this past week for other things, and then kind of inspired me to use it more for, because I don't like diagrams and tools and like official formal like UML or like real architecture diagrams because they just are incomprehensible to me. So I just kind of draw stuff out or whatever with basically just colored pencils. And so I'll do one of those for home games, and it'll be like, okay, well, here's how the squisher works, here's how Home Games Link works, here's your client, and here's, you know, some general kind of cutesy looking documentation for it. Because a cartoon, whatever, would be approachable for someone. They could just see like, okay, well, this isn't a scary looking technical document, it's just a thing. And then there's also some technical documentation as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, kind of going along with that, something we had talked about last time that I tried to like. I don't think I did a good job about it, but I definitely did try. Was a blog on like making a game or like just making progress on stuff. So as I was doing my game, I went through and I broke it down by commit and by like what files I touched and why I touched those files and stuff like that. It's like I don't know if that's something we want to do yet, but that is something that I have so far for like what I've done for the Square.
You're like keeping track of all your changes, or what do you?
Well, not just keeping track of the changes, but like also like what I changed in each file and like where I got that from and why I made those changes.
You mean like the whole what you wanted to be a blog thing of like your thought process while you're doing everything.
Yeah, because it's something that JC said that he was like, I don't really like program outside of work, and I think it would be hard to like figure it out. And I think that's true because if you don't work in a JavaScript stack frequently, but you do work as a developer in a different stack, sometimes it's hard to figure out like what the heck, like why is he doing this? Like where did he get these values from? And then reading GitHub, because the other thing too with JC is it's not actually using Git, they're using SVN. So he's not even used to reading like Git PRs, commit like their file change stuff. So just kind of like talking to like what I changed in each file, like why I changed it and stuff like that, like where I got it from. Like making the game, I was like, okay, well I started with the move test file, so that's where I came from. So I took everything from the move test file, put it in here, and then I started going through it and being like, okay, well I don't need this, but I do need this. I don't need this. I do need this. Like that kind of thing.
Maybe. Well, do you think it'd be helpful to do something like a very? Because we talked about before about doing documentations for people who aren't already technical or good at this or whatever. And so would you think that like an introduction of, hey, here's home games and here's an introduction to all the tech. It is client-side JavaScript. It is a web browser running that client-side JavaScript node. And then some like Git, here's how you Git clone. Here's how you do whatever. Here's what a Git clone is. So someone that's like, we don't have to do a Git tutorial. We can link to a Git tutorial. I'm just saying, like, you know, a paragraph, a section that says our thing is hosted on GitHub. GitHub hosts Git stuff, Git pull, Git clone, Git thing, Git whatever. Very basic, just for someone like JC, I guess. Or a tiny.
Maybe eventually. I think right now we have to say like, you either like are gonna learn it on your own or you're not. Because like I didn't explain how to like Git pull. Like I didn't explain how to get the project. I just explained like how to make your game. So I was like, okay, well we started in this file. I'll send you what I have because I think it makes sense. One sec, I'm gonna mute myself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of like how I broke it down. Where I was just like, okay, well for my first commit, like in the game server, like I went and did this stuff in the package.json file. I did this stuff, right? So that's what I meant. Like just more like a tutorial on how to make a game. Like you know how like React has the like how to make your first React app, and it walks you through how to make like a simple React app.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's more valuable than being like, let's install Git and Node.js and like all the other stuff.
Well, yeah, but the start of all of those home games, React introductions is Git clone this. So if someone's like, what is that? And they're already put off by the lack of knowledge of the tools of how to even get the code onto their machine. Someone who's like in that little moment of confidence, like, hell yeah, I'm going to learn programming. I'm going to go do this. And the thing is like Git clone on the CLI. It's like, oh, bruv, you've lost me.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should. But that's what I meant. Like, I think we should in the future. Maybe not right now.
Yeah, I also don't think it'd be expensive, I guess, which is what, like, in our time, it takes maybe an hour to do a simple overview of how everything works and give a 2-sentence description about what Git is. But
that's true.
I mean, I'll probably end up doing it before the end of the month, just in some of my free time. But we'll see where I actually.
I'm always worried about bringing stuff up. I'm not worried about it. I always like know if I bring up something like this, you'd be like, I'll just do it when I have some free time.
Well, yesterday we got home and I was like, oh well, you know, it's Friday and we could just watch 30 Rock, and I got the wild turkey bourbon out. It was a whole party, and then I just started writing code, and then I had all the stuff. I basically did all the work on home games that I did this week last night. And I think Monday night earlier this week. But yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, I see your documentation here, or your blog thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be valuable even. I was just like, if I was trying to get a handle on what files are what and why this person touched all these things,
yeah,
I would like a little write-up as to like why he did or they did.
It's also it's funny because you're giving this one from the perspective of someone who like works on core home games, so this is valuable as someone who's working on core home games because it is like the actual the actual home games logic and code and all that stuff changing. And then for the nice thing I think is for a person, all their stuff would just be touching source games, their game.js or whatever. So at least from like that whole thing would be simpler instead of having to modify 5 different files and having a broken npm run start apparently, which
I couldn't get that to work. That might be because I work on a Windows box though.
Oh, maybe if you don't have that.
Does yours work?
Yeah, it does. I just npm install and then npm run start, and it's
okay.
Fine.
I can node start each of them individually, but I can't do them together.
It does the ampersand thing. So like when the first one exits with exits with 0, then also do this. It's like
oh, I see.
And I don't know if that works on Windows.
I don't think so.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
no. I mean, I can still run it. I was just like, I don't know here. I'll bring it up with Joseph. I actually forgot. I didn't write that down in my notes to talk to you about.
I forgot.
Just to do here.
I don't know. I'll add a fix for that. I'll see what a better way to do it, because that's definitely not the right way to do it. I just did it because it was I think I needed to do it for something. I forget. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, but like I don't know if we wanted to still go ahead with it, but I did do some of the groundwork of like, all right, well, if we are going to do a blog, this is kind of how I would want it to be structured.
Sure. Do you want to set up that whole thing? Because I feel like at this point, I can start delegating tasks.
Yeah,
because it's been going.
Absolutely, you can delegate stuff. Just like a Medium blog, like spin up a Medium blog for home games.
For some reason, I hate Medium.
That's like the opposite of 90% of developers, by the way.
No,
it's like Medium, Stack Overflow, GitHub. Those like the 3 things that developers generally like.
Maybe I don't hate Medium. I think I just don't like how people use Medium. It gives everybody like this thing. Like there's just so much shit on Medium that's not good, I guess. You know what I mean?
That is true. That's not even a joke.
It's like some dude who just learned programming this year is like, well, I'm going to try to get my name out there. I'm going to make a tutorial or a blog post about setting up NPM. It's like, fuck off. You don't belong on Medium. Anyway.
Yeah, that's also in the NPM documentation.
Anyway.
But Medium's definitely come in handy for me before. Like,
sure.
And you're real stuck and you're like, what the heck is going on? And then you read through a Medium blog and they're like, oh, you ran into this issue? Here's how I got around it. And you're just like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, sometimes they're really helpful.
Thank you, stranger from 5 years ago. Ran into this exact problem.
To me, I would like to host the blog ourselves because I'm like a weird doomsday prepper when it comes to tech stuff, and I just don't trust services and all that. And so, anyway, I would like to host it ourselves. Well, not even host it ourselves, like host it through S3, which is a big dumb service. But at least we would own it and all that kind of stuff. But that's just personal preference. You can kind of do whatever. But yeah, if you want to take the blog stuff and then also just unit testing and then just see how that whole kind of thing takes you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep working on the game, but I might...
Oh, yeah. Game.
I might take some time off to do just like at least the colors unit tested, so we at least have like an example on how I think we should do it.
Sure.
And then I'll probably run... I want to run 2 blogs. I was going to say I can run one blog as like, I'm a person making a game, and one blog is in like, I am a home games developer.
You can have like a personal blog as well. I mean, you know.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, no, I mean,
I was thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say just like we could have a home games blog, but you can also have. Outside of that, you could also just do your own like developer blog and then talk about home games in it, or you could just do your own personal blog where you do just write about the guy that held open the door for you or whatever. And
I think it's hella lame. I use this podcast for that. You're always the guy who holds the door open for me. No, I was the reason I was thinking that was because I could write one as like I'm a home games developer, and then I could explain like why I'm doing this as the testing framework. Like I can say like, okay, these are the two examples. But then I realized that like that's literally this blog, like that's really this podcast. Like I'd be on this podcast and I'd basically just read my blog to you, which sounds not great for you.
I think we've mentioned it before, but I mean, like a podcast is really just about entertainment, I guess. It's not really about like it is a form of us talking about the stuff, but it's not actually practical for anyone trying to learn because they're not able to search this or read just that one part. They're like scrubbing through a podcast. So having an actual technical thing. Also, you and I both know that giving technical, like code and all that kind of stuff examples is almost impossible over Discord and just talking. So there's definitely value, I think, to having it written out and more concise, like more focused, I guess, on what you're actually trying to say.
Yeah, that actually might be true. I'll take a look at doing that. I'll definitely set up one for me as I make this game, though, just so that people get an idea of like what it takes to make a game right now.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is I kind of like, remember that we were talking about like the code thing? Because can you imagine in like a year from now how much easier it'll be to make a game? We'll have so much more stuff to help people.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll be like, oh, you want to make Square? Like, here you go. Here's how we make Square.
Yeah, it's crazy because this stuff has been in the works technically for like a year and a half, but we didn't, like personally, I didn't really start working on this so much until we started the podcast, which was only like 2 months ago. And in that time, we've gotten a lot of stuff working. So the idea that like this is going to keep going for a while and then in a year it'll be something totally different, that's actually super exciting.
That's kind of what I like about the podcast. It makes me feel like I need to have something done to talk about it.
Your mic cut out for me. Yeah, you need to have what?
Oh, I feel like I need to have something done for the podcast when we go to talk about it.
Yeah, otherwise
it's like I'm just here to like hang out.
Yeah, we're like it's like a public shaming thing. Like we didn't work on anything. And
yeah, last week I felt bad. I was like I didn't do anything. This week I'm like I have some stuff done.
Well, that's the other thing. Like we've talked about it so many times, but I mean, this is not everything. Like there's so many more things in our lives that are more important than this thing or this podcast or whatever. But we still spend a lot of time doing this every week. Outside of all those.
Hella sick this week. Boy was laid out. It actually wasn't so bad. I think it's just like a cold. I had a sore throat and that was terrible. Like sore throats, I don't like at all. But runny nose are fine.
Also, we were watching 30 Rock, like I mentioned earlier. And there's an episode in there where Jenna, I don't know if you've seen the show, but where Jenna gets a script for a movie. And the movie is called The Rural Juror, like RURAL Juror. And so there's like the whole joke about how no one has any idea what the hell it's called because it's so hard to say. And then there's a lady with an accent and she the re-j, and it's just like that whole kind of thing. But it's all R's, the whatever R sounds. And it just reminds me of Square-er. You're intentionally making it hard to say.
Frogger isn't easy to say. You just have said it so many times in your life.
No, frog is easy to say. It's nice, crisp.
Frogger?
Frog? Yeah, it's distinct. Every letter has its place.
Frog is kind of a crisp word, now that I think about it. It's a good succinct word, you know what I'm saying?
So is succinct. I like the way that sounds. Succinct.
Succinct itself is not a succinct word. It's great.
Anyway, I was trying to segue into Square-er. Do you have?
Sorry, continue. No. That's all I had. I started working on it. It's too smooth. It's too good. You know, the code is just too good. I need it to be like 1970s, like running on an Atari. I need to tone down the like key reads. The key reads per second needs to go down. Frame rate needs to go down. You know, I just need it to be a little bit more trash.
Oh, you can also. No, never mind. That would be too complicated. I was gonna say you can just set your tick to like 5 or whatever, so you have just a few frames a second to actually like artificially limit it. But then that would you still have to do all the logic to move it at a certain thing. Or...
Can you imagine it's 5 frames per second? You're like holding on the thing, like, oh, I'm not moving, and then you just snap like 1,000 feet into an oncoming truck, die. You've lost the game.
It's possible with our technology.
Yeah. The other thing I was really thinking about was when you're playing the game, how do I want to handle some certain collisions? And what I decided was you can't jump into a player. Basically, like if a player is in front of you and you try to move into their spot, you can't, so you're just stuck there. So there's some tactics where you could just find the opening, sit on the other side of the opening, someone tries to get through the opening, and you just get them killed.
That'd actually be pretty cool.
Right? I was thinking about like actually like what would it be like to play this game, and I was like, if I was playing with people and I really wanted to win, I'd do stuff like that. I was like, well, I better add it in because I need people to like, you know, get hype.
That's awesome. It's like Mario, those Mario games on the Wii U, the new Super Mario Brothers games. There's multiplayer and you can like stomp on people and throw them or whatever. It's like cooperative, but you can mess with each other, kind of.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
I don't know. It's also funny that you mentioned it's too fast because I've shown Pico de Gallo to a bunch of coworkers, and almost all of them are just like, what the hell? What is, like, how is this working so fast? Like, what, like, what's the messages being, what are the messages being sent through? And I was like, oh yeah, WebSockets. And they were just like, man, this is fucking crazy. And that stuff is exciting when like technical people are excited about this stuff. And Pico de Gallo is running on a Bay Area server, an Amazon EC2 instance. So like the latency of 2 people in Seattle talking to a Bay Area server is much higher than it would be if it was a local network thing, which is how this whole thing is designed. So I think it's like, I don't know, it's just super crazy. It's fun.
Super cool. Oh my god. Oh, you know what we forgot to do?
What did we forget? Oh, the word
match game.
I was gonna mention it earlier before because Pico de Gallo currently still has Dancing Man, but that game isn't done yet, and it kind of sucks. All those words suck, so it's not really.
It's very funny.
It's not.
No, I think it's better that we don't know half the words. We're both just so confused. We're like, I don't know, just make something up. I enjoy it, but we don't have to play it this time.
Well, I mean, we're already locked in, you know. I mean, we could.
Yeah, we're already in too deep. I mean, we're gonna have a What's Up Part 2.
It's true. Here. It's true.
Maybe we'll do it then. Who knows?
We'll see.
Did you want to talk about the dashboard?
Oh yeah, the bulk of the actual work I did this week is the home games dashboard. So I think because I just listened to the previous couple episodes of the podcast, and I think I mentioned a couple times that I wanted to have idle animations or just kind of like nice stuff. That's why the branch I'm on is called Prettyfy. But I decided that I would just end up doing the whole server dashboard thing because part of the like launch requirements for me, when I say launch, I just mean posting a link to this on my Facebook so my friends can know that's whatever, because there's no like official launch. But to me, the requirement for that is getting the ability to someone to choose a game without touching code, because this whole like change the code in game server, uncomment the line that you want to actually run that game, and then oh cool, it's a thing that changes colors when I drag my finger over it. Is that all? Like, even if it's just a bunch of tech demos, I want people to go through the tech demos easily. So and because eventually that'll be games and whatever. So I decided to start working on the whole, you know, game dashboard. Each game is actually a new node server. The client is moving between different servers on the back end and that kind of stuff. And I didn't know if that would actually work. I think that's another thing of why I wanted to get it done, because I have a lot of ideas for how I think things will just work, but there are like limitations to what we can do in a web browser and limitations to what we can do just in general that will not allow us to do some stuff. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that it would be possible, but it is. So the way works is that the home games dashboard is essentially structured just like a home games game. It is all written. It's a game node, and so the squisher is rendering this dashboard. And this dashboard just contains a list of games read from the games directory, like an index.js in games, exports an object based off keys and whatever. And then I added some identifier, I believe. Oh no, it's just the key. Yeah, I just used the key of the game in there as the key for the game in this big dictionary. And then when someone clicks on that game node associated to that key, it'll start up a new game, a new instance of the actual thing that's there, which is just a function, right, to start up that thing. And then that will the dashboard will start up a new game session with that game instance, and then set up all the listeners and all that kind of stuff there. And from that perspective, like it's just running the game like it normally does. It's a game session with a game, and it gets players from something. It's just the something is in this case the dashboard. And it's not even actually really doing that, because the dashboard itself isn't plucking someone out of one and putting them into another. It's literally just sending them a message. So I added a new a thing in the web app that checks the first bit or first byte of the message that comes over from the WebSocket. And if the type is 5, because I like that number in the moment, then it means it's a new port message. So it's a 3-byte message. The first one is 5. The second one is the first 2 numbers of the port, and the second one is the other 2 numbers of the port. So if my port was 7,000, then my message is 5, and then the next one is 70, and the next one is 0, and then the client will read that 0 as 00, and then construct a port of 7,000.
Nice.
And then it just says, okay, well, I'm going to reinstantiate my socket and all the startup stuff with this new port, which in this case is just the dashboard saying, hey, there's the game that you just clicked on here, reconnect to this thing over here, and then you're just going to be playing that game, right? So the game doesn't have any idea where this player came from, because this player technically disconnected from the game server and then just connected to this game server. And then so that game server is just running the game like normal. In this case, I think it's just draw. You can check out the Prettify branch and check it out yourself. But the draw game is the only thing that has the home button. And I drew that PDF, or I drew the thing as a PDF on my Surface. I exported it as a PNG that was supposed to have transparency. Doesn't have transparency, so it's a white background house logo. But anyway, there's a home button in that game, and if you click it, similar to how the app dashboard redirected you to this game, the home button just redirects you to the home port, which is 7,000 in this case. It should be configurable, but right now it's all hard-coded. But yeah, 7,000. And so then the client, similar to the way it did the first time, it disconnects from the game. The game has no idea that anything is even managing it. And then the client just reconnects to the other server, which is the dashboard again. And then the dashboard will do an interval every 5 seconds or so. We'll check for any empty sessions and clear them out. So if a player leaves a session, the game server will kill it. And when a person joins, there's the game selector thing, and each game has its name and whatever, but then underneath it will be a list of sessions. And if you click on any individual session there, you'll join into that session, or you can create your own. It'll add to the list. Mm-hmm. So it's everything.
So I have a question on what you said. When you said that when somebody hits the home button, it kills the session, do you mean for everybody? It doesn't kill the game, right? It just kicks that player back to the dashboard?
Well, it doesn't kick. So yeah, it doesn't kick anything.
The player disconnects and then reconnects back to the dashboard.
Right. Yeah. So when you hit the home, or when you hit the whatever, any of those buttons, and something is telling you to connect to something else, it's really just the server sending you a message that says, hey, here's a new port. The client just connects to that port, and then the new game thing will just take over from there. But in that process, when you connect to a new port, you're disconnecting from the first and connecting to the second. So that game that had the home button, all it really sees is player clicked home, player disconnected.
So it's more like a rage quit button than turning off the console.
Than turning off it's like...
The console.
Yeah, it's like going back to play another game. I suppose there's no real way to rage quit home games unless you want to control C node CLI process.
I mean, if you're in the middle of losing a game, you could always hit that home button, right?
Yeah, but then
you're
but then everybody else is still playing, and it's like, dang.
Yeah, that's what rage quitting is.
Got it. I understand now. Yeah, no.
For someone who's rage quit before.
Yeah, multiple times, all the time. But yeah, I think that's really it. It's pretty cool. Like it looks like garbage, and like I said earlier, there's a ton of bugs in there. There's a weird race condition I found earlier. There's I don't know. There's just a ton of problems, and they need to be fixed. And it's visually disgusting. So. It's black boxes on a red background. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Nice.
And I'm just happy that the port switching stuff works. I think.
Yeah, that's super cool, man.
Yeah, I think that'll continue to work for other clients in the future, like Android, iOS. I don't know if it will though. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that is. That's super exciting, man. That's something that we've talked about like for 2 months now.
Yeah,
dashboard and stuff done. That's awesome. Nice job, man.
Thank you. Another thing I would like to do is add images. So like a game should be able to change its name instead of just a key, which is currently the class name of the game they define. It should be like a custom name thing where I have a separate, basically a 2-string or whatever for my game.
Yeah.
And then
like a display name almost.
Yeah, and then have other attributes like the author, like I've mentioned before, should be attributed always, and then the like an image, within some dimension.
Yeah, like metadata.
Yeah,
almost.
But I'm trying to decide what metadata, because I think we need probably.
Also do last updated.
Yeah, we could do date created, date updated. We could do name. Yeah. We could do author. We're defining our schema right now live on the Home Games podcast.
Yeah, one of us should probably be taking notes.
Just listen to the podcast. No, yeah. What was I saying? Listen to the podcast. Something.
Oh, fudge. I messed you up.
That's all right. I started messed up. What the hell? What was I talking about?
I was asking about rage quitting, and then we went somewhere else. Yeah. The rage quitting thing is the last thing I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't matter. The metadata for the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we should have all those things, and then an image that someone can just store somewhere. But then that kind of starts this question that I've been avoiding, which is, what standards do we set for people? Like, if someone just creates a PR and sends it to us, it's like, hey, check out this new game. It's Goatsy 2. It's all of the stuff that you love from the original Goatsy, and the background is Goatsy, but I've animated it. And basically that's the idea that someone presents us with. Imagine we get an Alex, right? Like just an absolute rebel out there, just doing whatever they want. What do we say to Goatsy 2?
So here's the thing. GitHub has somewhat strict rules on the kind of content they allow. You're not allowed to have sexually explicit content, I think,
is that just
in a repository.
Is that just text? I mean, like, is that code that creates sexually explicit content, or? So
I think it has to be reported. Like, I don't think they have a way of like automating going through all the repos and stuff for sexually explicit things. But if somebody does report our stuff for having sexually explicit things, I think it's like an immediate kick off GitHub. So I think we probably should use Git standard. Like whatever the GitHub limiters are, I think we should probably just use those as well. Well, I think those are pretty good content policy.
One, that seems silly to me, because how do you define sexually explicit? Like, I can go to Home Games right now in the draw game and draw dick. Is that enough to get me reported? Or do I need the word dick in my code?
I don't even know if it's the word dick in your code. I think it's like images and stuff more.
But if someone just links to a static image of Goatsy, doesn't actually contain any inline images of Goatsy in the GitHub repo on the web app, on the whatever, it just contains a link to it like S3 or whatever that has Goatsy.
Oh, I don't know. We need to read through their policy. We also need a lawyer.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need a home games legal team. Someone who's willing to work for free.
I'm definitely not one of those. Yeah. I think we need to ask somebody who has some law background to take a look at the content policy for GitHub and then tell us what our policy should probably be.
Well, I mean, ultimately, like we can host our own Git stuff. We don't need GitHub for anything. And
well, no, what I was saying is that I think GitHub has pretty good, like a pretty solid content policy. Like I kind of agree with what their policy is.
Yeah, but I don't think we should just rip it straight up. Like we should think about.
I think that's illegal. I don't think you're allowed to do that either.
I don't care about that because I mean we could just copy all of their ideas and that's just fine. But I'm saying we should, like what are ideally without any kind of limitations imposed by some company like GitHub or whatever, what should we do? Because we can host our, like I said, we can host our own Git repo. We can host whatever we want ourselves. It's the internet, but it's not like an advertiser or content friendly. But that's not the point. It's just like, what are we trying to do? To me,
I don't know.
Goatsy 2 should be allowed. Like
what?
Yeah, man. Goatsy. Like if you want to make Goatsy 2, if Alex wants to let out his creative aggression on Goatsy 2, he should be able to do that. But I'm not going to put it into the main branch. I'm not going to show that to people because I don't want anybody to see that because I don't like it. But we have to think about our criteria for what are the specifics that you and I don't like.
Well, okay. I agree with you that if somebody wants to make Goatsy 2 and they want to leave it on their local version, I'm totally down with that. If they want to put it in the hosted, our GitHub as a game for anyone to play, I don't think that's okay. I think sexually explicit things and maybe a couple other things, I'm not okay with some of that. Yeah. Just because kids and stuff can be poking around on GitHub and it's just an executable now, so
yeah. But if kids are around on the internet, they can type in the word Goatsy and see what that is. So I mean, I'm not trying to protect kids.
But then we have to do stuff around hey, are you over 18 and checks like that, and I don't want to.
Well,
I'd rather just be look, if you want to make your own sexually explicit game, that's fine. But if you want to use our stuff, we're not gonna put a sexually explicit game out there,
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about legal stuff. I guess whatever. I don't really care so much about the kids. I just care that that we're able to do something without getting sued or whatever. But I don't think just putting up code in a GitHub repo will get us sued. And I don't
think it'll get you sued.
Yeah, and I mean, if someone goes out and makes something that I hate, or not hate, but okay, well actually that's a different thing. If someone goes out and makes something that I hate with our tools, that's fine. They're free to do that. And like I said, I'm free to not whatever. And if they want to put up their fork and make a whole website about their game that they made on our fork of the thing, it's we can't really endorse that because we didn't improve the game for our stuff. But I'll be I'll post it on our Twitter or whatever because I mean that person's still using all of our tools. They're still using us and they're still, we're still a part of that, even though
you would tweet about it?
If I like... Oh, no, sorry. So that was two separate things. So the one thing is the thing that I hate. The person making something I hate, they're free to do whatever. That's fine. The person making the thing that I don't approve of, same situation is the thing that I hate. If I like Goatsy 2, but I don't want it on Home Games, then I'll tweet about it or whatever. You know what I mean? But if it's something that I hate, I'll just kind of let it be.
Are you the individual or are you as in the Home Games Twitter?
I mean, both. Right.
Whoa. I don't know about tweeting about sexually explicit stuff on the Home Games Twitter.
No, not sexually explicit. I'm saying something that
or things that you don't agree with, maybe.
That I like.
You don't like.
That I do like, but I don't want in our repo. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine.
That's a weird line, but I'm saying I want porn games on things. I'm not going to tweet about porn games. I'm just saying there's probably a line that we need to set in the Home Games main repo, and that's okay, well, because I'm 90% sure that anything Alex makes, we're not going to put into the repo because he just he has really stupid ideas, but they're funny, and that's the whole point, right? I love Alex. That's the whole point.
He's really smart is the thing, and he can do really impressive things, but he chooses to use it for evil instead of good.
Yes, and because I like Alex, and he'll probably make something that's funny, but probably not really appropriate for the main Home Games repo, then I think as the Home Games Twitter account will be like, hey, someone built this with Home Games. Check, it's pretty funny, but check it, like whatever, check it out or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's fine. Okay, that's cool. I agree with that.
But I'm saying we have to define those rules.
Yeah. Do you remember the old saying that like every rule is out there because somebody messed up and you had to put that rule in there?
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe we go by like that system where it's just like somebody sends us like absolute trash. You have to be like, we rejected it for this reason, and then that reason becomes like a part of the criteria around like what we're building.
Yeah. Well, I think
so that we have like a dynamic criteria that's like always improving, because I don't want it to be like back in 1492 it was illegal to eat rutabagas and kale at the same time, so we can't do that.
Sure, but I mean those standards will just change as our opinions do, because the whole thing is about just like making the thing that you want to make, even if it doesn't get approved. So if it gets approved, we can have the basic rules like, okay, well, we have an ESLint config. Your thing has to pass the linter in order to be, like, actually be PR'd. Like the community guidelines or whatever. You can't have X, Y, and Z in this stuff, whatever that means. But, like, we should probably have a conversation outside of the podcast, but kind of
a more when we need outside of the podcast, and possibly we would need someone with some law to tell us that like, it's illegal to do this, so make sure they don't do that.
I'll just watch more Legal Eagle videos on YouTube. He's a lawyer. He does actually super interesting stuff about law. He did a whole video about the difference between copyright and trademark that I learned about. It was pretty interesting. He did a whole other video about Better Call Saul's first episode and how legally accurate it was. It's actually super interesting.
I will have to check this guy out.
And he's very handsome.
Yeah?
Yeah. And he wears a suit in every video.
Dang.
He's awesome.
That's next level.
Yeah. Anyway, that guy will help us.
Yeah. Do you think so?
No, not at all. We have no money to pay anybody, and lawyers are notoriously expensive, so...
I share that's not true. Lawyers aren't that expensive unless you keep them on retainer.
Well, I don't even know what that.
I don't know. I've never had to pay for a lawyer before.
I need someone to confidently tell me that what we're doing is great and we will never get sued by anybody ever, and we can do whatever we want.
I think no lawyer is ever going to agree with that.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I'm not going to do it, because it's never going to happen. It's something I want.
Here's what we do. You and I both go back to school and become lawyers.
I have a friend that was studying law for a time. I don't know if he actually got a law degree, but...
Brian?
No. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
We'll figure it out later.
Did you have any other...
Cut this.
We'll cut a lot of that out. Did you have anything else that was Home Games related?
No, I don't think so.
Sick.
Yeah. I mean... For me, at least, it was just a lot of Square and just running into some stuff and needed to talk to you about some things like the testing and the smoothness, the butteriness of this project.
Sorry it was so efficient and fast and great.
Yeah, I know, man. I need you to straight Garbo. Like, I need this to be running on like 2 kilobytes per hour or something.
What? Oh, got it.
Like the hertz.
That's not a unit of measurement. Kilobytes and hertz are two different units of measurement.
Well, your hertz is
it's like
like a megahertz is how many ticks per second, and like 1 megahertz is like one whatever. It's like it's like 2 to the 8th power or something per second. What is that? I don't know.
Math expert Yazeed here to tell us about.
What's a meg? What's a meg is how many bits?
Million.
Yeah, then it's 1,000,000 ticks per second. That's what a megahertz is. So, 2 kilobytes per hour. I mean, with some conversion magic there, that's not very many hertz.
We're just gonna move past this because ticks and bytes are 2 separate things.
It's 2 divided by 6 hertz.
Guys, we both have degrees in computer science. We promise.
It's not 2. It's 200 divided by 6 hertz. Anyway, I'm a professional math major wizard. On to What's Up Part 2.
Yeah, I have bullet points here that I forgot to mention before, so we can just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You didn't forget. You explicitly stated you didn't want to mention it before.
I mean, I actually have stuff in What's Up Part 1 that I actually didn't mention.
Oh.
So I did forget, Yazeed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry.
Did you have anything for What's Up Part 2 before I...
No, I left this entirely for you, man.
Great. I'm just going to rant. So my 3 things are Outer Worlds, Boneworks, and Candle Day. Okay, so out of Out of Outer Worlds, Boneworks, and Candle Day, what do you think you want to talk about first?
Listen, I know about Outer World. Like, I've heard about Outer World. I haven't even heard about the other 2, so...
About Boneworks?
That should probably be the first. Either that should be the first one or the last one, Outer World.
Okay. Well, I'll go in order. Okay. Just because. Okay, so Outer Worlds. Did I talk about this last week?
I don't think so.
I've been playing the Outer Worlds. I kind of like it. It's like, I thought it was a multiplayer thing. It's not a multiplayer.
Oh, we did, and I ruined something for you.
Oh, yeah. The cannery. Yeah, I don't know. I've been playing more of the Outer Worlds. I like it. I'll probably spend more time playing it. I played like 2 more hours this week. It's not really any more progress. But Boneworks is a VR game that I heard about. And I don't know why I heard about it, but everybody was super excited for it. It's like a physicsy sandbox. I don't know what the hell. I saw guns and VR and popular on Steam, so I decided I would just get it. Because I've been looking for a new VR gun game on Steam since... what was I playing? Arizona Sunshine. That game is cool, but I'm kind of burnt out on it. Anyway, I started playing Boneworks, and I normally play VR games standing. I have the whole, like, I barely have any room in here, but I move the chair and all that kind of stuff to do standing. But when I started up the game, it said it recommended sitting. And I've never ever gotten motion sickness from a VR game ever in my life. But this game, when it was like, oh, we recommend sitting, so I just moved the chair back in the center of my normal play space and just sat down and then started doing it. But I got horrible motion sickness within the first like 10 minutes. I had to go lay down for like 2 hours.
Oh no.
I felt so bad. It was like making me uncomfortable at my core. Like the pit of my stomach was hurting because of like how bad everything felt. Like the thing that I think really got me was the fact that, one, I was sitting and my guy was standing, and that throws off everything in my head. And then I also just have the original vibe. So like the resolution's low, and I can see outside of the headset, and I also wear glasses, so I can't really see anything when I'm playing VR. So it's kind of just a generally uncomfortable experience for me anyway. But anyway, I was sitting down, and then I could feel the cable on the side of me sitting down, so I'm like constantly aware of how I'm sitting down. And then the guy like walking, you can do that whole kind of thing. But I think the thing that really got me is that I can move my head to move my vision in the game. But you also, when you're moving around, you need to turn. Like 180, 90-degree turns. Like that's way more than a person who's just turning their head, because I'm limited by my actual body. And so... Mm-hmm. You can also snap turn by hitting the right like D-pad basically on the Vive controller, and your head will snap 90 degrees in that way. But if I'm doing this and used to the regular movement of my actual head, and then I'm snapping 90 degrees in each direction while I'm sitting and my guy is standing walking, and I'm supposed to be throwing stuff and doing physicsy stuff, I'm like I said, within 10 minutes I was feeling super sick, so I just turned it off. I'll probably... Next time I'd play it, I'll play it standing. But holy shit, that was so bad.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It was really...
That's something I haven't actually thought about, like getting motion sick. Because I get seasick.
Yeah.
I wonder if VR is going to affect me negatively.
Well, I've got the Vive. Next time we're in the same place and it's also in the same place, you can check it out. But
well, the thing is that I have a Rift. I've just never used it. Yeah, my uncle got one.
Oh, you told me that
something.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and I've just never plugged it in. I want to. I just have yet to.
You probably have room in there for it. I mean, it looks about the same size as this room.
Like a ton of room. Like I could, like people used to want to play like Call of Duty in VR. I could probably do that in here. It's how little stuff I own, people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a bummer because I thought it looked cool, and it still might end up working out for me. But I even told Synovia, I was laying on the couch, just like I can't move, I can't get up, like I just feel sick for a while. It was an interesting experience. So yeah, motion sickness for the first time. Bucket list item.
Did you take? Maybe you should take Dramamine before.
Just to play VR games. I already
makes
feel
you
like
sleepy.
Great.
If you ever want to take like a good nap, just pop some Dramamine, play VR for like an hour. You'd probably be passed out afterwards.
That doesn't seem like a healthy or sustainable way to get good sleep, but I'll keep it on
That's how the Ruse Cruise worked for me anyway.
And the last thing is Candle Day. Are you familiar with Bath and Body Works Candle Days?
Yeah.
The like annual thing where you can get them for $10, whatever it is.
I didn't know that you could get them for $10, but I am familiar with Bath and Body Works candles.
Oh yeah, the 3-wick candles. They're incredible. I just went through another one this month. I forget what the scent was. Anyway, Synovia and I are big fans, and I guess they have this thing where every year, once a year, maybe twice a year, I don't know, it's just Candle Day, and their normal price candles that are $25 regularly or $24.50 are on sale for like $10 or $11 each. So, or no, I think it was 8. No, maybe it was 10. I don't know. Anyway, they're
maybe 10 with tax.
10. I don't know, something like. Let's just say $10 for simplicity. And last weekend, Synovia and I went to the Bath and Body Works at the mall, and oh my god, they're never like. Have you been to a mall around Christmas time or Thanksgiving, like on Black Friday or any of that kind of stuff?
It's wild.
And it's just wild. But a Bath and Body Works and how cramped and like packed up those stores normally are. Mm-hmm. It was like that, but way more. Seriously, it was like sardines. I was standing in the thing, which I already get super anxious around a lot of people, and I get super weird in enclosed spaces. But so Synovia and I went to an enclosed space full of a ton of people, and I was just standing there in the corner, like, just kind of being there because I'm also taller and bigger than almost everybody in that store. So I'm just a weirdo, like trying to make myself small in the corner while everybody is just aggressively reaching for candles in front of me. Anyway, we bought like 10 candles. It was great.
Nice.
Stocked up for the year.
What's your favorite candle scent?
Winter. It's only available around winter time. It's called Winter. Smells incredible. I actually have this room spray right here, right next to me, because I just recently went through my winter candle. But we bought like 4 of those at Bath and Body Works, and I don't know. It's the scent I learned how to drive to, so I think I have a weird nostalgia for it. But Winter, it's a good smell.
That's really cute. I didn't know that. What a nightmare it must be to stand in that store, because they literally make the aisles like as narrow as possible so they can have as many candles and stuff as possible out for grabs.
Yeah, and it's all glass and it's all fragile, so if you bump something or a person and then bump into something, like, it's just, it's really difficult. It's like that episode.
You can only imagine being an employee there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
off.
No,
yeah, they all had that smile where it was like you could tell that they're dead behind that smile. They're just furious at everybody. I get it. I mean, I totally get it. I was gonna say it's like that episode of Nathan For You where the business idea was, oh hey, you have this antique store that doesn't make any money, but you're also close to a bar, like geographically close to a bar, and you're within walking distance from there, so you should be open 24 hours, and then implement a policy that is you break it, you buy it. So all these drunk idiots from the bar will walk in after and break all your stuff in the antique store and have to pay you for it. That's what it feels like the Bath and Body Works strategy was.
What a trash system that is.
Well, no, are you familiar with Nathan For You, the whole show?
No.
Do you remember in the news a long time ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago at this point, the dumb Starbucks thing?
No, I don't remember.
So someone went and created this fake coffee shop, and it was basically Starbucks. They just ripped off everything, but they called it Dumb Starbucks. The logo just said Dumb Starbucks, and the whole thing was it was just trying to get around the copyright law or the trademark law of the Starbucks branding and all that kind of stuff. And it got shut down, and it was all this stuff. Anyway, that was Nathan Fielder doing a publicity stunt, basically, because his whole thing, he has a Comedy Central show, and it's like, oh, you have a failing business, I'm going to go help you out with my business ideas. And all of his business ideas are absurd, absolutely ridiculous, never practical in any way ever, but it's just silly. So one of them early in the show is like, oh, because they're in California where gas is like $1 billion a gallon. And it's like, oh, well, why don't you have gas for $2 a gallon or something like that? And the guy is like, well, I'll obviously lose money if I do that. And so Nathan is like, right, so do a rebate. You have to do a rebate for the actual price of the gas. Or maybe it was free gas or something like that. Anyway, so, but the whole thing is that the rebate is not a mail-in rebate. It's a little box at the top of a mountain, like 3 hours outside of the city, outside of LA, and people have to go and walk up this, like hike up this mountain to drop in their form submission or whatever in order to get the rebate. So it's just lies, basically, and all that kind of thing. But that's the whole show, is that he just does dumb ideas like that, and they document the whole thing. And it's the most ridiculous show I've ever seen on television. The series finale, because the show's over now, the series finale is like one of the peaks of civilization.
Wait, what's the finale?
I'm not going to talk. You have to like watch the show and then gain up all of this background and just context for Nathan and like what he does, and the whole last episode's incredible. Okay.
The idea of being forced to hike a mountain to get free gas is hilarious to me, and something I would probably try at least once.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you're a outdoorsy person, but really the whole thing was just everybody getting pissed off because they realized they'd been bamboozled, and then it's just that, right? And that's the whole thing. And Nathan, his whole thing is he's just incredibly awkward, just deadpan, says everything with a straight face, never ever breaks. And then there's just like ridiculous people that he meets that it's so funny. He's so funny. I feel like you'd like Nathan.
The dangerous thing is that we have similar senses of humor, so I'm probably gonna love this show.
Oh, have you been watching new Rick and Morty?
No, I actually didn't watch last season either.
Season 3 I thought was kind of weak, but season 4 has been super strong. You should
really?
Yeah, you should watch Rick and Morty.
To get back on the train.
And then Silicon Valley ended. I thought the ending was super good, but I thought the second to last episode, one of the dumbest episodes of television I've ever seen in my life. But I thought the show ended well.
You didn't even watch Game of Thrones.
I read all the controversy about Game of Thrones. I feel like I've basically seen Game of Thrones, about how they like rushed the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, but Silicon Valley, that last episode, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
Nice. I'll have to check it out because I've never seen Silicon Valley either.
It's good for 2 seasons, and then it's really hard to watch and boring and frustrating, and then it ends. So...
There's so many like really good shows been out these last few years. Like The Mandalorian, I heard, is also like super good.
Yeah, we signed up for Disney Plus, but I haven't actually seen The Mandalorian yet. I've just seen Baby Yoda memes, and I'm already sick of them. And The Mandalorian as a result.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, I get it, Baby Yoda's cute, but I don't need to see a meme of Baby Yoda holding a cup of milk and you telling me like, me when I wake up in the morning or something. Like, I get it, you drink coffee.
I mean, it's like obvious marketing. It's like someone at Disney was like, oh, Baby Groot did well. Oh, Baby Groot made us how much money? Oh, Baby Yoda. People love Yoda. And then people are just buying into it and doing the whole thing. Like, wake up, sheeple.
Yeah. Disney's brilliant. And actually, damn it. Wow, this would be a perfect transition to one of my rapid fire questions, actually.
It would have been a perfect transition, except your mic just cut out, and I have no idea what you said.
I was going to say, that would have been a perfect transition to my rapid fire questions.
Oh my God, it happened again. That's hilarious. At the exact same spot.
No. It would have been a perfect segue to one of my rapid fire questions.
Okay, not very rapid, but I did hear it that time.
Yeah, I said it slowly and a lot closer to my mic, hoping it would pick me up.
I don't think it's about actually picking up your voice from the mic. I think it's a connection of your mic to Discord.
That's a possibility.
because
I don't know.
It just hard cuts. It's not like it fades or it doesn't pick up what you said. It just cuts.
Maybe Discord is kind of being a garbage can. Let's see.
Rapid fire question.
Well, we have other stuff.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
This is another long episode. This is nuts. What's happening?
I know. We've been hitting some long ones. Mostly for listener questions. We don't really have any again this week. So, listener question section. We don't really have any.
But we did have something, maybe. Did we? Are we going to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay. Yeah, no listener questions. Send us questions, Homegames.io on Twitter.
Please do.
We love to talk.
We do. About random garbage, actually.
So if you have random garbage you want to ask us about, or, something that's cool, good, interesting, informative, you want to give your hot takes about Silicon Valley or Nathan For You or Homegames.io. Yazeed's just laughing at something. I don't know what it is. I hope your mic picked up.
We were going to do questions from Yahoo Answers, and one of the questions is, how come I have no friends on Roblox?
Well, our idea at the start of this was we don't have any listener questions, so we'll just go to Yahoo Answers and then provide a home games related answer to the question. But I don't think we have something good for this poor soul on Roblox.
Girlfriend is a gamer. What do I do? I really hate video games and people who play them.
Perfect.
She plays Overwatch a lot and it makes me mad. What do I do?
Grow up. Let her play Overwatch. Learn how to make a game in home games. Gain an appreciation for video games as a result, because they're actually super hard to make, and Overwatch is pretty cool. And then make her a game that explains to her why video games are actually terrible, because you're now coming from a place of knowledge because you've built one. And then you can write an actual proof. Once you learn all the algorithms and stuff, you can prove algorithms, and then you can write a logical proof of why Overwatch is trash and she should hang out with only you forever. Because clearly you're so interesting.
Yeah, and have zero hobbies.
Yeah.
A lot of these are just asking if they should get a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation 4.
You don't need a Nintendo Switch. Homegames.io. It's free.
It's free.
Play on your TV and a tablet? Fuck that. Play on your phone and a TV and a tablet and a computer.
Hell yeah. I can't hold a controller for very long, so my answer is neither.
All right, no controllers for Yazeed, but everything else I just said.
Yeah, I'll be on the mouse and keyboard watching from a very far away room while everyone else is in the living room. Do you think it's weird to gender robots? Like, I just called her. Because I've been calling my Roomba him, but I named it Peasant.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah. I got a Roomba for my birthday, and every time I turn it on, I say, "Peasant, clean my floors." I'm not even joking. That's
awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of whatever, because you're going to hear a voice, and that voice is going to sound, because we're humans, we're going to think it's going to sound like a gender, like a male or female voice. And then it's like, okay, well, just for comfort, humans are just like, yeah, you're male or you're female. Instead of being like you're a sentient thing or a non-sentient thing. I feel like you just read a good question. What's the question?
I did. Is the Earth's crust anything like pie crust?
Great. These are clearly high-quality questions on Yahoo Answers.
Yeah, I don't know how many people actually use Yahoo Answers anymore.
Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up on our Yahoo questions. Those are all bad.
That could have gone really well in, like, a couple years ago. I think right now we'd have to troll, like, Ask Reddit threads, like the new ones.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that don't have a lot of answers yet.
Ideally, one day, someone will write into this podcast, or enough people write into this podcast, so we don't have to look on Yahoo Answers. But we'll see. We might just end up cutting the...
We might end up having to cut the listener questions, because although I found some of them funny, their answers I didn't even read. We didn't even answer them. We just read the question and laughed. Or I did anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Whatever. We'll see how the listener stuff goes, and if not, we can figure something else out.
All right. We'll keep going. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, though?
No. I'm happy with where everything is kind of going. I think the dashboard will hopefully be solid and stable and usable and ready and nice looking in January, and then we can kind of start to just add games, and then we'll go into this dashboard, which is then improved on, and then the games are improved on, and then it's kind of this thing of just kind of going. I think we're getting there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think like a year ago what we had when it was just the move test stuff.
No, not a year ago.
Right now.
A year ago, the modern squisher didn't even exist. A year ago, it was still sending a 2D array of pixels.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, you've come a long way. This is sick.
Because I did the game tree update vector, not even vector, the binary array stuff like a year ago. And that was Christmas last year when I was home, and I just had like that week where I just did everything. But yeah, a year ago we had a draw test similar to the draw test we have now, where it would just color a pixel, but the game state was stored in a 2D array of pixels, and that 2D array of pixels was updated by the squisher as opposed to a binary array of just numbers and whatever. So it was, well, actually a 3D array of pixels because each thing was an RGBA array. So it was a 3D array of pixels, a huge thing. And then I had to do a bunch of math to convert that 2D array to a 1D array, and it was like very complicated, but it was just pixels, and the performance was absolutely trash because the canvas was essentially painting that 2D array as like a raster image on the canvas, and would die. So anyway, yeah, happy that this is where it's at right now, and that was not even a year ago, which is nuts to me. And so this is also the last one I'm recording in Seattle in 2019. So
that's true.
Because it'll all be like end of the year and fancy stuff when I'm home.
Hell yeah. All right. So I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you the first one, and then I'm gonna just talk about a different one while you think about it. Or actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to ask you the first one.
Okay.
What are your top 5 animated Disney movies?
Okay. When you say animated, is that like 2D animation or like the new Pixar stuff?
The new Pixar stuff's fine too.
I don't know if I could rank them.
It doesn't have to be in order.
Okay. I love Coco. Coco is one of my favorite Disney movies. I love Toy Story, the first one. Man. I love The Incredibles. I love The Incredibles. Yeah, I don't know. It's really just Pixar movies. I like the older stuff too. Like I like Little Mermaid. I like Snow White. I've never seen Beauty and the Beast. I like Aladdin. I don't know. Let's just say make it 3. I love Coco, Incredibles, and Toy Story.
All right, so here's where you're wrong. Okay, Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo's good.
That's gotta be up there. Finding Nemo.
We talked about it though.
Okay, listen. The thing about Finding Nemo that I've heard from everybody is like, oh, I've just seen it too many times. Okay, but the first time you saw it, you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
It is an incredible movie, but yeah, we talked about it like a couple weeks ago when we were getting dinner, but that movie was seriously ruined for me by my science Olympiad teacher in middle school. We watched it like every week for like 3 months. And so if I have to hear anemone one more fucking time, I'll lose my mind. So I do love Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. Hercules.
It's a good one.
Moana, Frozen, Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 is good.
I think that has to be my top 5.
But but The Incredibles is the best movie that Disney's ever put out.
Oh, I can't agree. I can't.
They took California Screamin' and California Adventure and took that whole roller coaster and themed it after The Incredibles because it's the best thing they've ever put out. And they know that, so they made their like flagship roller coaster The Incredicoaster.
Also, I think Little Mermaid is trash
What?
I think it's a garbage movie.
How is Little Mermaid trash?
I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's a kind of boring movie.
Why is it boring? You gotta elaborate.
Listen, I just think that story-wise, it's not very interesting. It doesn't explore super interesting things. And the plot can pretty much be boiled to, like, octopus lady steals fish lady's voice.
It's called a
fish
mermaid.
Lady wants to bang. And fish lady wants to bang another dude.
He's a prince, not just a dude.
She doesn't know he's a prince, though.
Yeah, but anyway.
We, the viewers, know he's a prince because they call him Prince Eric, but I don't think she knows what a Prince Eric is.
Well, that makes it even more magical because she's not in it for the prince. She's in it for the love. Anyway, you're wrong. Incredible's best movie ever made just because Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Where's my super suit?
That's true.
Classic line. Mr. Incredible.
What about Mulan?
Mulan's a good one.
I can
It's
make
fine.
a man out of you. Or I'll make a man out of you. Whatever that song
Yeah,
is.
to defeat the... Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
No, they got hits for sure. It's just that you're wrong in all your opinions.
Oh my god. Okay, what's the best song out of Hercules? The Disney movie.
I don't know. I've seen Hercules exactly once, and it was 15 years ago. Probably more.
Oh my god. I won't say I'm in love is the answer to that question, though. Anyway. Did you see the dude who was playing Face Your Fears, the VR game?
I don't know what Face Your Fears is.
Okay, so it's a VR game where it literally is just supposed to be a horror game.
Where it's literally what?
It's just a horror game.
Like, what is it, like a good
So
one?
so the one example that I can remember off the top of my head is you play as you presumably like a kid in his room, and you have like a clown doll that ends up getting possessed by a demon and starts to like do nightmarish things to you while you're trying to sleep alone in your dark room. But the whole gimmick is the dude is a Mexican dude, and he says a lot of stuff in Spanish. Like when he gets scared, he starts speaking in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I'll send it to you after this. It's actually really funny. I don't know any Spanish, but he does subtitles for it, and it's hilarious. And I know he's probably playing it up. Man,
Yeah.
some of that stuff I'm also scared of. Like dolls. I'm not into dolls.
It's the beauty of Spanish. It conveys what it's saying without actually understanding what people are saying.
Perete means stop, right?
What was the word?
Perete? I think.
Alto would stop.
Alto is stop. What's perete mean?
It's a command to para something. I don't know what that base word is. So, but it's telling you to do something. But I don't know what para means.
I see. Okay. And then my last thing is, you know when you're sick?
I do.
And you go to sleep and you have like sick dreams?
Oh, you like fever dreams?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know how wild those are?
Yeah, one time... Oh, yeah, go ahead. Continue.
No. Tell your story, because mine is not good.
The last time I had fever dreams, I was laying in bed for like 30 hours straight, and I was just... I kept imagining that my bed was a battlefield, and I was constantly in like some sort of conflict with the pillows and blankets surrounding me. And because it was incorporating into my dream somehow, where I was literally on a battlefield fighting something, and I was well aware in the dream that everything that I was fighting was bed sheets. But when I woke up, like kind of half woke up, I'd be frustrated with all of the things around me, so I would push them off, and I would like make progress or whatever. It was just like this really weird thing where I was constantly asleep but also constantly awake, and both of the things were like integrated into each other, and I was confused as to what was happening, but I was very much going along with all of it, and I was just moving all of my blankets around a lot because I thought they were fighting with me somehow, because that was the dream.
Yeah. That kind of stuff happens when you're sick, and it is wild. Like, I don't understand why it happens, but like, Jesus Christ.
Dreams are awesome. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I remember who, but I was watching something, and they said that like dreams are weird because you're both the producer and the observer to the dream. Like, you're both the one who's creating the dream, but also like you're just basically watching it unfold.
Yeah. I think that the thing that gets me is the level of detail that exists on things in my dreams, and I'm able to, like, for example, go up to like a fruit and admire like the details of that fruit as if it were real. And it's crazy because if you ask me right now to tell you how a mango looks, I would just say like orange, green, messed up ellipse. But then I would Like, but in the
like a football.
yeah, and but in the dream, it's like your brain knows exactly what that thing looks like, and it can recreate it perfectly. You just can't. You don't know that. You know what I mean? It's like kind of nuts.
So you know that thing where it's like in dreams, your brain doesn't construct faces; it just uses faces it's seen before.
It just uses faces.
Do you think it's the same thing with everything else? Like that mango that you saw in your dream, you've seen that exact mango before, but you don't you're not like consciously aware of remembering it.
I think that's probably it. I mean, I would guess that every single thing that I dream of is just something I've seen in the actual real world. I don't think my brain like constructed any of that, but maybe it did.
I don't know.
Because it's like, well, if I've never seen a mango in my life, can I dream of a mango? You know, Homegames.io.
All right, I think that wraps up episode 9. I don't have anything else. Did you have anything else, Joseph?
No, yeah, that was all. Thank you to everybody for listening, and again, we're on Twitter and Reddit, and let us know. Oh, you can also email us. We have a website, homegames.io, at homegames.io, on Twitter. Check us out. We're on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, we hit 69 plays on the podcast this past week.
Nice, dude. I saw that and I wanted to comment nice, but I was like...
I tweeted it out with just the caption of nice, but
he did.
I probably won't hit. I won't publicly post our listener info again until we hit 420. If we ever do hit 420,
thank you. I was going to ask about that. Wait, also when we hit 420, 69, and 69, 420.
Yeah, if we ever somehow hit, what is that? 4,269. Or 44.
I think it's 42,069.
That's a lot. That's too many.
69,420.
Yeah, if we ever get that many plays, then we're probably not using Buzzsprout anymore, so I can't even do the same type of screenshots. But yeah, it's exciting. We'll see. But 69 plays, and half of those are me and Yazeed. So
hell yeah,
hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Cheers for our rec, which is actually what Joseph said when I asked before podcasting this morning.
I love that meme.
So good. All right, everyone.
Thank you.
See you in a week. Probably.